We have one person, and it's Mr. Bob Weeks, and subject matter is city paid trip to Sister Cities event in France.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Bob Weeks. The address is 2451 Regency Lakes Court in Wichita. I asked the city last week that the proposals from the 4 finalist firms for the Downtown Revitalization Master Plan be made available to the public, and my request was denied. The part of the Kansas Open Records Act that the city cited does not prohibit release of the proposals. Instead, it states that the city is not required to disclose the proposals. So the city can share these with citizens if it want to, and I think it should. According to the communication I received from the city, these proposals will not be made public until the City Council accepts a proposal or perhaps rejects them all. Since citizens won't be able to read these proposals, they won't be able to give any reasoned input on this matter. We don't even know what questions to ask, and I think this is intolerable. It's offensive. Now, there are a few citizens who can read these proposals, a select group of downtown boosters. These interests of these people and of the various bureaucrats who also have these proposals, I would submit, are not representative of the city as a whole. Mr. Mayor, you can release these proposals if you want to, and the citizens of Wichita would be better served if you do. And the second topic I asked to speak about today is Council Member Janet Miller's travel to France. This trip can only be described as a junket with all the negative connotations that would go along with that word. And to make it worse, the city is paying for a private citizen to make the trip as well. We're in tough budget times, and even in good budget times, I would argue that these trips should be avoided. But when budgets are stressed, travel should be the first thing to cut. And as a person in the private sector, I might add that's what companies in the private sector do first, cut travel, even travel that they believe is essential. Now, I realize the cost of this trip is small when compared to the total spending of the city. It's less than $4,000 according to the estimates I've been given. But that's still money that could be saved. And furthermore, these actions are symbolic. The City Council asks citizens and employees to sacrifice, but in this case is not willing to set an example. There's more travel to be approved on the agenda later today, along with an item that hints of more travel to be approved later on. These items should not be approved. And for this specific trip, I have these questions that I haven't been able to get an answer from. What is the benefit of traveling to the it's the International Cities Conference and the Sister Cities Festival, and why is the city paying for a private citizen, even though she may be the Wichita area Sister Cities president, to attend these events and make this trip?
To answer your question in reference to the Sister Cities, Sister Cities is something that has been going on for many, many years, and it's part of, as what we call, social and economic exchange. And in previous years, the city of Wichita, we have 4 sister cities, and when you create a sister city, just like all cities throughout the entire United States, and many of them do have sister cities, is the fact that you do these exchanges of social and economic exchanges, student exchanges, or whether it be ideas, recommendations, best business practice, or best practices, whatever is going on to improve that entire community, to include economic opportunities. And from that standpoint, we make those. It's just like you may have a marriage, and you might run into some difficult time, but you don't divorce the spouse to be able to save money. You try to work with the spouse and figure out how you're going to be able to do it, and how can you improve the household. Well, this works the exact same way. And individuals, sir, I gave you your time. I'm sure you'd be willing to debate this with me all day. But what we're doing is we have cut our travel. Now, this particular trip here was a trip that was designed where they take mayors from all over the world that were going to Paris. And while they were attending Paris, each one of them will be discussing and working on various different ideas and things that impact the communities. And we will be looking at those best practices. The other portion is the only thing that we're covering is the airline trip there. They are covering all other expenses. Now, being smart about the entire thing, she's going to catch a train and she'll be going on to our sister cities, which is in Orléans, France. which is approximately an hour away. And all expenses will be paid at that location also. What she's doing and what we are doing, rather than to take two trips, where this particular trip and going to this was the mayor's responsibility because the mayor was invited, is we sent a representative there to go in place of the mayor, and then they go on and do the Sister Cities trip and link up with the representatives from Sister City. And just like any other organization or group or individual that's assigned to a committee or assigned to a board, if you're a member of a committee and you're going to represent the city and the city has designated you or a council member has appointed you, if you travel, then there's always some form of a stipend or something that's taken care of. And I think that's one of the things that you owe. These jobs are not the easiest jobs when individuals ask to sit on a committee or sit on a board. Maybe they used to be. Maybe all you had to do was just sit on there just so you could get it checked off and get it put on your resume. But those days are no longer. These individuals work. The other portion is once they arrive, where you may call it a junket, I tell you what, I don't think my wife would appreciate a junket where as soon as I arrive and I'm on a totally different sleep cycle and I only have 30 minutes to get off the plane, get there, change clothes, and I immediately start. When at home, everyone is in a bed sleep. And there, you're just starting out your day. These individuals, every single one of these council members that have traveled, work extensively with the objective of going to find best practices, to find business opportunities, to bring new businesses here, and to be able to do the exact same things that they see other cities doing. That's why you see in places like Chicago and other places that are getting other countries investing billions of dollars in their community, because they're doing these types of things. So we can't sit in a silo and just assume that we are the only one that has the greatest idea and we already know all the answers. We know that that's not true. We know we have to go to other places and speak with other people, and we have to work extremely hard, because we know just right here inside the United States, our competition when we're trying to get new businesses, we know that there are 3,000 other cities that are trying to get the same business that you're trying to get. So you're going to have to, no one's going to take care of you like you're going to take care of yourself. And during these difficult economic times, yes, we must be smarter about the way that we do things. And I think that this council is doing that. And they work extremely hard. They don't get the opportunity. I don't know what you do when you go, but I know what type of pace that they're on. And they don't get to sit on the beach. They don't get to sip pina coladas. They don't get all these other different things. They're working continuously in trying to seize an opportunity to either do some type of exchange or some type of business or get some type of idea that they can come back and bring back and make this city a better place, to include educating our children. We do educational exchanges with the various different universities. We must make those visits to those locations, just like they send students to these locations. And we check on our students that are Americans that are in those schools to make sure everything is going fine for them and that they're pleased with the way things are going, just like anyone else would do, and just like you would want somebody to take care of your child. So they're not there playing. They're there and they're working 24/7, and their number one objective is go there, seize those opportunities, get back on a plane, and get back home, because back home is where they're going to get that opportunity to rest. But it's not wherever it is that they're going. And I wish at some point in time you could submit your name and you could go on some trip or something so you would exactly know what was going on. I know it's easy to speculate, but I'm just telling you from my experience and what I've seen these guys do and what I know that their calendars and their schedules are, there is no rest time, and they're there and they're working. And did we go back and did they cut the budget? Yes, we have cut the travel budget significantly, and we're trying to do things a lot smarter. And that's why you see, instead of me taking a trip and then you take council member taking a trip, the council member's taking the one trip and she's making both the visits. So I just wanted to explain that to you, and this isn't to debate with you. I'm just explaining to you what happened and what go on, because I've been there, I've seen it, and we have been working with them. That's why we're doing things with Wuxi, China. That's why we have trade. That's why we have 30 some odd other countries trying to do business with the city of Wichita and trying to figure out how to do trade here, is because we do those types of things. We just have to make sure we do them and do them in a smart manner. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.